A very good morning to all my dear students. Students, today we will be starting with the 5th chapter, right? See, time is flying so fast. Online 5th chapter of SS, right? And many more to come. So, the 5th chapter is your geography chapter, that is location and time. Now, at the end of this chapter, there will be many questions which you had in your mind that will be solved. I will not take out the suspense right now. Let's see what questions and what answers you get to that questions. Okay, but the first session, that is today's session, I will be doing a little bit of recap of lesson number 2. Okay, in lesson number 2, you learned about Equator, Tropic of Cancer, Tropic of Capricorn. You learned about latitudes, longitudes, right? That same thing I will be repeating in this first session. Because if these concepts are not clear, you will not understand this chapter further. Okay? So the first session of this chapter will be just a revision type of a chapter or a recap of lesson number 2. Okay? So let's get started. Equator. Students, we have already learned what is an equator, right? So as I said, this will be just a recap so that we can proceed further with this chapter in the next session. But this recap is very important for you all, right, to further understand the chapter. So first, let us have a look at an equator. An equator is an imaginary line on the Earth's surface equidistant from the North Pole and South Pole. In the diagram given, you can see where is the North Pole and the South Pole, right? And equator line is in the middle, exactly in the middle at 0 degrees, right? And no, it is equidistant. Equidistant is same distance from the North Pole to the equator, the same distance, and equator to the South Pole, it is the same distance. So that is known as equidistant. An equator divides the Earth into northern hemisphere and southern hemisphere, 2 parts. The equator you can see that because of this equator, there are two separate parts, that is the northern part and the southern part. Latitudes. The horizontal imaginary lines drawn on the globe in east-west direction are called latitudes. Latitude is an angle which ranges from 0 degree to the equator to 90 degrees at the poles. The actual distance between 2 latitudes is 111 kilometers. Okay, so you can see the lines on the globe right now, right, in the image, right? That lines are going from east to west in that direction, okay, and they are horizontal lines. And the angle, what is the angle which ranges from 0 degree to at the equator to 90 degrees at the poles, okay? And you can see 2 parallel latitudes are there, right? So the distance between these 2 latitudes, any 2 latitudes, what is the distance? 111 kilometers. Okay, and student, this is very important for your MCQ. The actual distance between 2 latitudes is 111 kilometers. Longitudes. The vertically imaginary lines drawn on the globe in north-south direction are called longitudes. Right? So in the globe, in the image, you can see that the lines, the parallel lines are in the north-south direction. Okay. There are 180 longitudes in the east of the 0 degree longitude. Similarly, there are 180 longitudes in the west of the 0 degree longitudes. Thus, in total, there are 360 longitudes. So total how many longitudes are there? 360. And from the 0 degree longitude, 180 longitudes are in the east direction and 180 longitudes are in the west direction. Students, the 0 degree longitude, right? 0 degree latitude, no, it's an equator, right? But 0 degree longitude, what is that? I will explain you further. Okay, so you will get this clear picture what I am talking about. Okay, so till now you have understood what is latitude, what is longitude. So students, latitudes and longitudes, see in this image I have kept both together so that you can get a clear picture that latitude 0 degree equator, right? Parallel lines that are running from west to east, okay? Longitudes 0 degree longitude, right? 180 longitudes towards the east, 180 longitudes towards the west, and they run from north to south. Okay, so this image will give you a clear picture of the difference between what is latitudes and longitudes. Tropic of Cancer. Tropic of Cancer is a circle of latitude located at approximately 23.5 degrees north of the equator, right? So you can see Tropic of Cancer is above the equator. You can see in the image I have shown the yellow line, right? That is Tropic of Cancer. Tropic of Capricorn. Tropic of Capricorn is a circle of latitude located approximately 23.5 degrees south of the equator, right? Tropic of Cancer in the north and Tropic of Capricorn in the south. And at what degree? 23.5 degrees approximately. Okay, students, I hope now Tropic of Cancer, Tropic of Capricorn is very clear. Students, see, if this basic concepts are not clear, you will not understand the chapter further. That's why I am doing a recap of all these things. Okay, so please pay attention on this recap. Okay, because if you will understand this, what is latitude, what is longitude, what is Tropic of Cancer, what is Tropic of Capricorn, you will understand the chapter very thoroughly and you will enjoy what you are learning. Okay, because these things are very much, important for you all to know your earth, what actually earth is, right? So please pay attention for this basic topics. Hemispheres. Okay, the 0 degree latitude called the equator passes horizontally from the center of the earth right from the west direction to east. Now see, in this image you can see that equator is passing and it is dividing the earth into two parts, north and south, right? Thus the equator divides the earth into two halves. These halves are known as hemispheres, means parts, two parts. See, I have broken the thing that equator, northern hemisphere and southern hemisphere, right? It is dividing the earth into two parts. Now, it is an equator that is dividing the earth in north and south hemispheres, right? Now, what about east and west? Even the earth is divided into eastern hemisphere and western hemisphere. What about that? Okay, so that part, the line which divides the earth, right, into eastern hemisphere and western hemisphere, that we will learn in our next session. Okay, that line, I'm just giving you an idea, that line is known as prime meridian. What is it known as? Prime meridian. Our next session will start with prime meridian. Okay, right now you just focus on equator, right? Northern hemisphere, southern hemisphere. Okay, the western hemisphere, eastern hemisphere and prime meridian we'll be taking in the next session. I don't want you all to get confused between that. Okay, so hemispheres, In short, they are parts. As the equator divides the earth into two parts, that is northern hemisphere and southern hemisphere. Same way, the prime meridian divides the earth in two parts, that is western hemisphere and eastern hemisphere. So you can overall say that the earth is divided in four hemispheres. Which are the four hemispheres? Western hemisphere, eastern hemisphere, northern hemisphere and southern hemisphere. Is it clear, all of you? Okay. So students, here we end our first session, which was just a quick recap sort of a thing, right? Tomorrow we will be learning something really very interesting about our earth. Okay, so get ready for that. Till then, take care, keep smiling, stay healthy. God bless you all. Thank you.